I had the book House Rules by Jodi PIcoult. It was a really good book. It is a murder mystery kind of mixed with more emotions. It is about a 18-year-old boy who has Asperger's, and he is accused of a murder of his tutor. Throughout the book, you're trying to figure out who did it, was it him, did he do it, and you find out later on in the book what really happened. So the main character is Jacob. He is the 18-year-old boy with Asperger's. Jacob loves investigations, anything that has a case that he can try to help him figure out. He has a police scanner in his room, which he'll listen to every single day, and then sometimes he will even go to the investigation and help out police officers figure out what happened. Most of the time his predictions at the investigations end up being right, so the police don't have a problem with him being there. They like him being there helping them and everything. Jacob also has really bad temper tantrums. Sometimes they even become violent, and anything can trigger a temper tantrum with him. It could be from just the color orange Jacob doesn't like, or something messing up on his schedule. He has to have a set schedule, and if something changes, he needs it a week in advance at least. Or he'll throw one of those fits, or just be super stressed out. Jacob struggles with human interactions by reading people's faces. He can't read if someone's angry, happy, sad, so he always tends to say the wrong things at the wrong time. When the babysitter was found dead, Jacob went up there to do his whole investigation thing that he usually does, and the cops were reading him and noticing he was acting kind of suspicious and kind of acting guilty, saying weird things, and so they said he was going to be one of their suspects for the murder. And Jacob had to go through many trials. He even went to jail, and jail was really rough for him because, one, it's not on schedule, two, he has Asperger's. Jail is already hard, and then for an 18-year-old boy with Asperger's, it was just a rough time for him. Another character is Emma, which is Jacob's mother. She also has another son named Theo, and she is a single mother. Her life revolves a lot around Jacob, trying to make sure Jacob has a normal life, trying to make the best she can for him, which is affecting Theo's life. Theo is the older brother of Jacob, and he feels like he's left out all the time, unnoticed, just because everything does revolve around Jacob. Theo is still a big brother to him, helping him through everything, but he is getting annoyed how everything is around Jacob. One thing about Theo is he likes to break into houses, take something that the family wouldn't even notice is gone, or sometimes he will break into houses and even just watch the family because it's a normal family, and what his family he calls is not normal. Theo was the last person to see Jacob's tutor alive, so Jacob did think that Theo was the murderer, so Jacob tried to cover up, mess with evidence in the bathroom, just try to mislead the police officers with what really happened. So Jacob and Theo are pretty close. Then there's Jess, the one that was murdered. She was Jacob's social skills teacher. She tried to help him interact people, try to help him be able to read people. Just anything from social to just being around them. And then there's Mark McGuire. He was in the book a little bit, but he was Jess's boyfriend. He was also accused of the murder of Jess. Another character is all the police officers in this story. There's many police officers that come in and out of this case, and each one slowly starts to understand Asperger's throughout the book, but at the beginning they didn't understand it. So the end of the book honestly really gets you thinking. It ended by just saying no one was guilty, and it didn't really explain how it was an accident though. So it gets you thinking, like, wonder what did happen, and keeps you thinking about the book even when you're done reading, which I really like that Jodi made the book that way. One thing about this book that I really did like was it's not necessarily chapters. Each section of the book is a different perspective. For example, the first chapter is just called Emma. So that's when you're in Emma's shoes, you really get to know Emma's feelings, you're like Emma. So during the book, you really get to know Jacob's thoughts, how everyone else's thoughts is about Jacob and the murder. You honestly feel like you're in Jacob's shoes. And I love that she made the book that way, because you get to really understand how Asperger's is and how Jacob's feeling, and you just learn so much from this book. Jodi PIcoult is a super talented author. Her books are always so good. Never have I once doubted any of her books, but I do recommend this book to anyone who likes a murder mystery. The way Jodi writes it and the way she really understands Asperger's and tries to get you to understand the way, she had to do so much studying just to figure out how people act on Asperger's, how they feel, and she did a great job expressing all that. The book was 532 pages, so if you do want to read it, make sure you have time because it is a little long. But there was not one point in this book where I was bored reading it, and I get really bored easily from books. So this book is probably the top book I've ever read. Just the whole time you're on your toes, you don't know what's gonna happen, and it's super suspenseful, but it changes so much. Your thoughts are like, oh my gosh, maybe he didn't do it, or just stuff like that. Jodi PIcoult did a great job throughout her book showing what it means to be different in society.